to quote the great Stephen L. Miller, who goes by Red Steez on X, everyone knows he's my favorite Twitter account. I regret to inform you, we've disappointed Michelle Obama again. The Obamas in general. He said it the other day because Michelle Obama's on this book tour and she continues to complain. I mean, you would think this woman had just a horrible life, a really rough time here in the United States of America, to listen to her. Instead of, she got into Princeton on affirmative action. She got a job at a Chicago law firm. She married the future president of the United States. She became first lady. She had 4 Vogue magazine covers. She was uniformly beloved. She named her book Beloved. She had like the highest approval ratings of anybody for many, many years. They only started to go down once she started to talk more and introduce us to who she is. So here she is. She's promoting this fashion book that she's doing, which is such a joke. This is like me doing a book on basketball. Like, Michelle Obama is not a fashion icon, no matter what Anna Wintour tried to tell us. That's obvious. No one's inspired by her fashion at all. She knows nothing about fashion, same as I know nothing about sports, okay? That some of us just need to admit our weaknesses. But we have to go along with this. She's out there lecturing us on wokeness and America and fashion. Okay, and here's the latest offering as she sits down with Stephen Colbert. Take a listen to SOT 33.
I knew very quickly that I had to control every aspect of how I showed up in the world. It was a race to let the country learn me from me before they learned this other crazy woman that they were talking about, the angry, bitter black woman that was a terrorist and a danger to her country and didn't love her country. And how I showed up in the world played a huge role in just reminding people that we're normal people. Yes, we're black. But we bleed red and we love red, white, and blue.
Oh my God. Everyone knows that. You don't have to keep reminding us that you're black, just like your friend Karine Jean-Pierre. You don't have to work it into every single conversation, and also raise it as a way of saying the country's racist. We're normal, even though we're black. Weird white people who are racists and hate us because of our skin color. That's what she's saying. She said the other day they didn't get the same grace other first families got because of skin color. I'm sick of it. Amazingly, Andrew Walworth seems to want to take this one. Go ahead, Andy.
I don't know why I'm the Michelle Obama whisperer around here. Last time we were on, we talked about her as well. I just got to say.
Hey, if I can ask Victor Davis Hanson about OnlyFans, I can ask you about Michelle Obama.
You certainly may. And as a black woman of color myself, I will tell you. No, I think it's always amazing the sort of language she uses too, this sort of like how I decided to show myself to the world or something. This sort of weird sort of construct. I don't know where that comes from. It's kind of academic. It's kind of it's very PC.
Overly therapized.
Right? It's very off-putting, I think. I do agree. I think, and her relationship with her husband is kind of fascinating at this point, and she's put it out there so many times now. She kind of hates him, and is kind of stuck with him.
She does.
And, and yet you saw him out there campaigning. There was Obama. He's the one guy that they trot out, they've still got, who's got some juice, and, probably helped turn out some votes in New Jersey.
They didn't trot her out.
They
did not trot her out. Michelle. And I'm telling you, nobody's listening to this podcast. They maybe there's some hate watching or like some Maureen Callahan calls it rubbernecking. Like as a result of Maureen and yours truly covering Meghan Markle, I think her Netflix show got some rubbernecking views, and that's what's happening with Michelle Obama. But honestly, like the fact I had to show them, like the unfair people who suggested I didn't love America, Tom, that comes from her saying on camera that when her husband was nominated was the first time in her adult life that she was ever proud of her country. That's not some right-wing made-up thing. She said it, and people recoiled.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, that was how a lot of people, and that got a lot of publicity, as it probably should have, because that's not how you could say, well, she misspoke, but it's like, well, that's not how people normally phrase things. It's the first time in my adult life that I'm proud of my country. I mean, that's That's a pretty coherent thought. And the other part about her husband, she and her husband sat in the pews and listened to Jeremiah Wright for years. He married them. Talked about America, chickens coming home to roost and all of that. So it's not
God D America.
Yeah, absolutely. So this stuff didn't just sort of materialize out of nowhere. This is not some fiction that was made up. And she continues to, it's like a glass half full or glass half empty. I think a lot of people look at Michelle Obama and think, man, your glass is half full. I mean, you've lived this amazing life. You listed all the things. And now she went from literally no one to one of the most admired people in the world, who's like a multimillionaire with homes in Hawaii and Kalorama and all these places, Martha's Vineyard. They've lived an amazingly charmed life because of the American people, because people voted her husband into office. And she looks at her life and sees the glass half empty and says, man, I've gotten what I've gotten because of America and its flaws and racism and all these things. And I was so criticized. I mean, she just looks at it through a completely different lens that I think there's just not a ton of, we always tell our kids, be grateful every day for everything that you have, because there's so many people out there who have so much less than you, who have so much more tragedy in their lives, who have so much more struggles. You should always approach everything that happens to you in your life with a sense of gratefulness. And she just doesn't have it.
No, we do the same. We go around our dinner table all the time and say 3 things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And, it's easy. It's easy. She's just not built that way. Got to end on this one. Speaking of the obsessive focus on identity, you guys have seen it. We've seen it. Karine Jean-Pierre is at it again. And now she's defending the fact that she mentions, I'm a Black queer woman, at every stop on her book tour. She's mad that people are questioning it. Watch this. Here she is on Higher Learning with Rachel Lindsay.
It pisses me off that people who have not walked in my shoes, who have no idea who really I am as a person, get to tell me how I get to identify myself or not. So it's like,
shut up.
I was like, you can't tell me how I get to identify myself. You can't tell me how I get to call myself. Like, screw you. Like, that's not okay. Like, that is not okay. You have no right to tell anybody how they should identify themselves and how they see themselves in the world. Like, you have not walked through my battles. You have not walked through my life. You don't even know my personal story.
Here we go again.
So that's how that just boils me up.
First of all, she's a communications expert, allegedly. How I get to call myself. That is not a phrase. That is not appropriate English. But second of all, no one's telling her how she has to identify herself, just that she should stop doing it incessantly. It's not like, okay, I get that you're Black. If asked what your race is, you should say Black. But if asked what your, sexual orientation is, you should say you're a lesbian. I object to queer. It's weird. But like the issue is she mentions it obsessively. Truly, Carl, have you ever sat in an interview ever in your life and said, my name's Carl Cannon and I am a white straight male? I just want you to know my perspective is a white straight male
of Irish
and then
descent.
You go from there.
I think if you see me, you know right away.
Did you know gold is up around 40% this year? That's not speculation, it's reality. And if a portion of your savings is not diversified into gold, you're missing the boat. Here are the facts. The US dollar, still too weak. The government debt, still growing. This is why central banks are flocking to gold. They're the ones driving prices up to record highs. But it's not too late to buy gold from Birch Gold Group and get in the door right now. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. You don't pay a dime out of pocket. Just text MK to 989898 and claim your free info kit. There's no obligation, just useful information. The best indicator of the future is the past, and gold has historically been a safe haven. So text MK to 989898 right now to claim your free info kit on gold. MK to the number 989898. Protect your future today with Birch Gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.